What's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Justin Davis and I have a super fun review for you today. Check this out. Don't adjust your TV screen or your mobile phone screen. This is the MJX RC Bugs 16 Pro with 3-axis 4K gimbal camera on here with SD card support, return to home, GPS, and all the bells and whistles around a 28-minute flight time for around $250 with everything included as well as a case. So we're gonna review this one today on the channel, and also wanna remind you to make a comment down below, let me know where you're from, and lastly, subscribe on the channel for a chance to win an Insta360 Go coming up on the channel. I have one here brand new in the box, and that's gonna be given to one lucky winner on my channel in June 2021. So be sure to make your comment on this video or the original giveaway video for this Insta360 Go, along with a Flywoo Hexa rotor. So this is gonna come in combination, free shipping to your door, and you'll get a chance to win this one. So drawing, again, in June. Make your comment below, subscribe on the channel. You have to be a subscriber to win this combo right here. Pretty cool. So without further ado, let's go ahead and fire up this super cool, sort of, I would say mid-grade to around, maybe close to toy grade consumer beginner type drone with 4K on board. I wouldn't say this is a top class DJI type of drone. It does not have that type of range, but it does have brushless motors, a long flight time, and it's fairly portable for what it is. It's kind of long and narrow design, and I gotta say, this thing performed fantastic today because I flew in all kinds of weather conditions and it just kept going and going and going. So very fun quad to fly, and with folding arms, optical flow, SD card support, round 250. What else more do you need? Pretty cool drone. Here we go. All right, guys, welcome from that wild flight test. It seemed like today, it was raining everywhere. It was raining, it was not raining. This drone flew partially in the rain, partially not in the rain. I mean, it took some raindrops and it still kept flying. So that was pretty impressive. A lot of this is all sealed up in here, really nice. I think that the real world flight test got me somewhere around 25 minutes. So the advertised price are around 28 minutes. If you have absolutely still conditions, you can probably squeak out 28 minutes. But I feel like the range is not as good on this drone in comparison to something like DJI. So this one is a cheaper price point at around $250. You can get some DJI stuff used at $250 nowadays, but if you're a beginner, I mean, you know, this is not a bad choice. MJX RC has been fun for years, and I say fun because it's not a pro drone. It's not a professional drone. It's called the B16 Pro, but I don't really think it's a pro drone. I would say this is better than most of the other MJX RC quads out there in the Bugs series. So this is the top echelon of Bugs series GPS drones. Now it does have flawless return to home. I returned to home up over a river and back down onto a concrete dock where there was a metal pole on this side and water all around me, and only about a 6-foot landing pad of a floating concrete dock. So the return to home works flawless on here. So that is a good thing. And I tested that several times in different locations when I was flying this. You guys, most of the time, if you watch this channel, you know that I like to go out and fly some places where we've never been before. And that's why we call it the camps. We get out there and sort of drone camping around the country. And here we have some brushless motors here. And there is the stamp on the arm. It says 4K EIS. So it has a combination of not only motorized stabilization on this gimbal, 3-axis gimbal here. It's a coreless motor-driven gimbal. It also has electronic stability control in conjunction with that 3-axis gimbal. So that gives us really nice, smooth video. It also has these feet that fold out, very similar to a DJI Mavic, which is really nice. It has replaceable props. You also get 4 extra props in the box, and each of these props are labeled A and B. You can see A there and B on this side. It has 2 bolts holding each prop set on, and the props come pre-formatted with this harness right here. So they're already ready and labeled for you to replace. So if you have a bad landing and you break a prop, you can pull your new ones out of the box and just using a screwdriver with a Phillips head screw, put the new ones on there. So you just have to make sure that you put them on the right direction. And it looks like we have this type of setup for this drone. This is a right turn rear setup, propeller setup with this drone. So diagonally across will also be a right turn, and these two will be left turn. So right turn rear is a great way to remember the way that most drones propellers go on these aircrafts. Right turn, right turn. So motor 1, 2, 3, and 4 there. Now the battery comes off the back, and I like the way that they designed the battery. It has a USB port on the side there, and that's not for firmware updates. That's actually for charging the battery. So it'll take a couple hours to charge this battery up. If you press and hold, it will show you how many cells are in and charged up. Right now it looks like we have 3. We're about 75% charged. Now I'll press and hold again, and it turns off. And that's the way you turn the drone on. This is also a 3S battery. It is 12-volt battery. It's going to charge up to about 12.6 volt on a full charge. And it looks like we have 3,200 milliamp. And I mentioned before, I like the way this one's designed because the power connector is here, but it has 4 feet on the very bottom of this battery that lock into the drone. You could kind of see that when I was taking this off, it took some force to get it off. So this battery is not going to come off mid-flight like some batteries do. And it's interesting, this is such a long and narrow design. It does remind me of sort of a slimmed down Mavic. Even from the front, it kind of looks like a Mavic. It looks like it has camera sensors in the front. I'm not totally sure if this actually has front sensors on it, but it sure does look a lot like the Mavic Pro. Now underneath, this is really cool. We do have optical flow on the bottom of this quad. There's 2 little sensors there, infrared sensors, and they can see the ground when it's coming in for a landing. And I also figured out that we could land this drone with these folded in as well. If you forget to fold those down, that's okay, because the way this drone sits, these 2 little extra feet right here keep the gimbal up off the ground. but this will just give you a little more clearance if you're landing in something like grass, which is really nice. And let's talk about the transmitter. It does take 2 AA batteries in the back, which you will have to provide yourself. I put some Duracells in there. I would recommend getting the rechargeable batteries off Amazon or something, but this is very similar to the other MJX RC transmitters that we've seen. You do have the option on the right side to turn on and off GPS. This is pretty cool. So if you want to fly much faster and in, say, what we call sport mode, you can do that by turning this off. It'll go immediately into sport mode. So it'll allow you to fly around 40 miles per hour with this drone. It's pretty freaking fast. On and off with the GPS right there, which is cool. To have return to home options, you have to make sure that's flipped up and then on position. I was getting around 17 satellites with this drone on takeoff. Give this drone about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes to really load that GPS home point and then take off. If you have an RTL or return to home situation, you need to have that home point recorded. And it takes at least 1 minute to 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes to get that really locked in. Also, make sure you calibrate your compass, and that's also inside the app. The app is the I believe MRC app. I'll try to put a link down below for that for you guys. And it's also 5G Wi-Fi to your phone. And if you look at this transmitter, it's like, where does the phone go? At first it looks like it's this right here, but it has nothing to do. Those are just grips for your fingers like that. Throttles here, yaw, roll and pitch here. Return to home, the on switch is here. And when you have a solid connection to the drone's turned on, you will see this light up and these light up for signal. Signal on the sides here, and this will show you your battery level. This was great because I had a return to home situation with mine, and when I lost sight of the drone, I still could see that I was connected here on this side. I could see the battery level and I could see the distance from the home. So when I hit return to home here, it was showing me that this distance number right here was going down. So it was actually coming back really fast, which is really cool. So that is a great feature. You also have a lock button right here. And if this drone comes to you, by the way, this is a tip for you guys. If this drone comes to you and this is not linking up right here, you don't see this come on immediately, what you can do is power on your transmitter, holding down this lock button, and it will go into bind mode. So now it's searching for the drone, and then turn the drone on outside, and then it will link up to your drone. And that's the way most of the MJX RC Bugs series quads will link back to the transmitter. So that's just a tip for some of the guys that have never used this type of transmitter from MJX RC. Now on the right hand side, we have the gimbal wheel that makes the gimbal go up and down. We have the speed function here. You can also turn on and off the LEDs. Press once here and it will change from low speed, which was basically like tripod mode, very similar to other DJI quads, which is really cool. So it goes ultra slow, and then click it again and it goes into high speed mode, which should fly around 40 miles per hour. These are your signal antennas, and just under here, pull this out, it fits your smartphone in there. This piece flips up and your phone fits in there. Make sure these antennas are pushed in behind the phone, and I kind of hold mine up like this, and this will also angle just like that, so we can get a good signal back to the drone. Now again, like signal, I would say this thing goes out about, I'd say, a half mile or so. So most of the MJX RC drones are on 5G Wi-Fi, but they don't go super far away. That's one thing. If you want to fly miles and miles out, get a DJI drone. But you know, these are made the way they are, much cheaper than a lot of the DJI drones. So that is kind of the break there. They're not using OcuSync or anything like that, anything fancy. But MJX RC drones are just a step above like a toy drone. So that, keep that in mind, that this is not super prosumer grade here. We also have an auto takeoff and auto land button. You have another wheel over here that does not work. This wheel is stationary. It just sticks in one place and doesn't have any function on there. So one thing to think about. And this thing is also running on 2.4 gigahertz. Okay, my friends, let's go ahead and just talk about some general pros and cons and my final opinion on this Bugs 16 Pro. Now, right away, this one gets better video than some of the other Bugs series drones that I have reviewed on the channel. In the past, the toy drone versions of this Bugs series have been fun And that's pretty much all they are, is fun. Now we're at the point where the video is starting to get good on these quads. So I think that they're kind of pushing into the next realm of the hobby market, which is a little higher than the toy drone market. They have GPS on there, they have good video. The return to home on here works flawless. And inside the app, now you have camera control, so you can change the brightness, contrast adjustments. There's even presets in here. You have all of the follow me modes, orbit mode, point of interest mode, waypoints. And I have to say, I tested the return to home so many times out on my flights today, and it always came back to the right spot, even when I was standing on that floating dock, which is like the worst place you want to be standing ever with any drone, and that baby came back and landed on the dock. So that is really good news. So if you want a cheaper drone that has a reliable return to home, you can pretty much bring this back and land it every time just by hitting the button on the transmitter. Hey, return to home. It'll come back and land in the same, almost exactly the same spot it took off on. So in windy conditions, 23-minute flight time, non-windy, 25 to 26-minute flight time with that lipolymer battery. I think that's kind of a nice technology for this type of drone at that price, which is pretty cool. So comes with 1 battery or 2 battery or 3 battery combos. I think the 1 battery starts in at like $249. So for the video that you get with this drone, that's great. I wish the range was a little bit further. I'd like to see maybe a mile range out of MJX RC, but 5G Wi-Fi video can break up. One tip to you guys, if you're flying this particular drone, if you just bought this one, if the app crashes and it says no signal, close the app, open the M16 app back up, and reset it, and the video should come back. If not, and you can't see it up in the air to fly it back, it's still going to have connection to your transmitter. And you'll see it right here, as I mentioned before. You'll see that it's still connected both sides there, those 2 little bars, and you'll see that the battery level here. You'll see the distance and the height as well right there. So that's one thing to keep an eye on if you lose video from your phone. Close the app, hit return to home, and when you see it come back, you can hit that one more time and it'll turn it off and you can resume flying the drone. Once you open the app back up, if you don't have any trees between you and yourself, you should get your video back. If you have obstacles between this drone and your phone with the 5G video on there, you're probably gonna lose signal. So keep that in mind. This does not like to have solid objects in between it, like a building or the side of a mountain or things like that. And that's just a tip for the beginners out there. So it is a fun little drone to fly, and 4K video at 30 frames per second or 1080p at 60 frames per second with the option to use all the different flight modes and the ability to change the camera settings in there, and additional presets for kind of fun presets. You can change the look of the video too. So it's folding and has a long flight time and brushless motors, all around $250. Super slim, compact profile on this one. Kind of makes this one a fun one. So I had fun with it, and hopefully you guys had fun watching this review. It is a pretty neat little drone that has some great video capability. So my biggest takeaway from this review today, guys, is the video on this bad boy. So congratulations to MJX RC for finally getting me some good video with one of their mid-range, I would say toy to hobby grade drone. And I say hobby grade for the new guys out there because that means that you can get parts for these, which is cool. It's break an arm off, you can get parts for MJX RC drones. That is cool. That kind of levels it up above the toy grade drone. And with this new video camera on here, that is definitely a thumbs up. So I'm gonna give this one about a 4.3 out of 5 for this review. And by the way, guys, make a comment down below and get entered into my giveaway for June for the Firefly from Flywoo. This little Hexa rotor is going to be given away for free on the channel, and a brand new Insta360 Go in the box, still with the plastic wrap on there, going to be shipped to your door for free. So let me know where you're from.
down in the comments below and let me know what you think about the B16 Pro. I've really enjoyed this one, and what an adventure to fly this one today, guys. So please do subscribe on the channel. Got to be a subscriber to win that contest coming up in June. So take care, guys. Stay humble and be kind, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.